Okay, so what I want to do today is I want to try to get a Firestore event to get sent to Cloud Run and report some data about that event, whether it's the document, the and like what changed. So we're going to create a Firestore document and have that document show up in Cloud Run. And the key thing here is that the Cloud Run service that we're going to run is actually going to be a Dart server. We're going to use Dartfrog to do this. So I'm going to start a new project. So I'll say Dart, I believe it's underscore frog, Firestore, events, Dart. Ooh, that's not the right command. Let's try that again. Forgot create. Swap that out. There we go. Hey, first try. Okay, so now we will switch into that folder and we'll open up VS Code. Yes, I trust the authors. I know them, they're me. Okay, close this, close that, and we will come in to the base body here of the message and try to create a new terminal just so that we can see what's going on. So I'll make this terminal a little bit bigger. There we go. So as the request comes in, we will log the request. So we'll say final request equals context.request to get the request object. And then we will say request dot bytes because we want to get the bytes of the object. Dot first. So we the first message there. And that is a future. So we'll say then value print bytes, just so that way we can confirm that we are getting the right bytes. So we'll say bytes, bytes plus $value. So that should print out the bytes that exist. And then what we would like to do is also just print out the request headers. So the bytes represent the protocol buffer, which every event that gets sent to Cloud Run through eventarc is a protocol buffer. So then we'll say request.headers. Oh no, you just print it. Okay, great. So we'll come over here, say print, and then we'll say headers, like that. There we go. And then we can try to build and deploy this. So I already have a project set up. We are just going to try to deploy that project straight to cloud. So we'll just call Dartfrog build and Cloud Run deploy Firestore-Dart to deploy. Allow unauthenticated. We won't need to do that because every event arc it will be authenticated because it's coming from Firestore to Cloud Run and those requests are authenticated. So we'll come over to Cloud Run and wait for this to load. And while we're doing that, I know that we'll need the protocol buffers. So we'll look at what they are. So all protocol buffers are stored in the Google APIs, Google Cloud Events repository on GitHub. You can find that here, google.com, or I'm sorry, github.com/Google API/Google-Cloud Events. And these are just the protocol buffers for what's relevant. We have a Firestore protocol buffer that we'll need for onCreated. So if we go to the proto, we can see this is the path that we'll need. What I did was I actually modified the build that happens. So I have this already pre-built under the Dart folder. So I believe we can just say cd copy, let's say Dart/Google star, and then we want to do this to my project. So Firestore events.dart. This would go under routes. No, because it's not a route. We'll call it, I believe we'll need to create the folder first. Let's come back and say ls, make directory lib, all right, lib, and then we'll say Google. Hopefully that works. Dart Google Events is a directory. Oh, we need to do -R to copy. So now if we come back to our project where it should have finished deploying, looks like, yep, there it is. Requires authentication. Let's test that this works. So we'll set up a trigger real quick. Add a eventarc trigger. We'll call this onCreate. And this will come from Firestore, Cloud Firestore. The event will be a document is created. And database, yep, pattern. So we're going to match the document pattern to a path pattern, which will be test/star. So anything added to the test collection, any document added to the test collection will come in and notify us. And then I always do namespace default. So we'll save that trigger and we'll let that save and we'll give it a minute to sync. But now what we should be able to do is come over to lib. Ooh, and there looks to be a lot of issues in here. I believe it's under cloud, Firestore, data, and we need, oh, it looks like we need a lot of things. We need this fix them package. What's the quick fix look like? Add fix them to depths. We'll add dependency on protobuf to depths. And then we need struct, timestamp, and lat long still. So we can probably delete out a lot more of these. Let's see here. How can we pull those in easily? We'll figure that out after we test the Cloud Run event trigger. So it looks like the event trigger got set up. We'll go to our logs. And let's see if we can test. So we'll just create a new collection. We'll call it test. Give it an ID, give it a field, test. And let's see if any data gets shimmed on over to Cloud Run. Nothing. Let's try and refresh. Oh, you know what? Hey, there it is. Here are the headers and here are the bytes. So we have the bytes showing up of the request, and then we have the headers showing up. So this tells us the exact file that we need from GitHub. So Google APIs, blah, main, proto, Google, events, cloud, Firestore, v1, data. So this is the protocol buffer format. And then we can actually grab the document in here. I believe it's, so we have the cloud event time, cloud event database. There should be cloud event, I believe, document. Let's just take a real quick look. There we go, cloud event document. So we'll come down here, create a new function that returns a string, get document, get doc from header, map string, whoops, string headers. Give us a little bit more real estate there. Okay, and then we'll say headers dot get contains key, and I learned this at a conference one time. Final doc key equals ce doc u mint. I one time had a typo there, and it stopped me from actually being able to run my demo live on stage with 400 people. Is wonderful. So we'll take our doc key. So if it contains that, return headers of doc. Nope, not like that. Doc key. Because we know it's there and it's valid. Okay, what is this? I don't know what counts. Great. So now we can say once we get the bytes, we can grab the headers. So we'll say get doc from headers and then we'll pass in the header, so it'll be request.headers. Great. So we have the bytes, and now we want to convert the bytes to a protocol buffer format. And the protocol buffer that we want to import comes from our lib, so we'll just come back here, and now we'll try and solve this bit. So I believe this comes from Cloud Events. I believe there's a temp folder, and if we look in that temp folder, there's an include Google, and these are the base protobufs, I believe. So struct is in there. Yep. Timestamp is in there. And is there a type? There's not a type. Where's the type coming from? We can probably overcome that easy enough, but what we can do is we can come back to modify our scripts for compile, and we'll go down. Okay, where are we? Dart. Let's just add, whoops, there we go. We'll add a new line, and we'll tell it what we want to output. So that's coming from temp, include Google protobuf slash, I want to say struct dot proto. Hopefully this works. Let's try it in a new window. So we'll say /scripts compile.sh, and if we go to cd dart Google protobuf, hey, look at that, struct, there we go, perfect. I wonder if we can just modify that real quick for the next one that we have, which is timestamp. And then if we come back here, whoops, there we go, scripts, protobuf. Yeah, awesome. So we can actually copy that in its entirety into, looks like not lib, it's lib, Google, and then protobuf, right? Yeah, so let's do that. So say make directory lib Google, then we'll say protobuf. So we'll say copy our protobuf to nope, gotta go up two more. Too far, okay. Noe lib Google protobuf. And then if we come here and we check, that should resolve if we maybe take some of these out. Ah, come on. Ooh, my, I cannot type. Hey, look at that. Try converting the URI to a package. Nah, I'll pass. So we just gotta delete one of these. Great. Okay, use package imports for files in the lib directory, convert URI to a package, quick fix. Quick fix, and then where do we find these types? That's the other thing I don't think I understand. So we want to leave that there. We'll say cd. Where do these types exist? It's not there. Would it be in temp again? In the includes? We may have to ask our friend Google where to find type lat long dot proto. Huh. That looks easy enough. So we can just say Google Cloud Events. Let's move this over here. We will move up, git clone, and then we'll copy the code path. Code, copy. Wait a minute. Yeah. Git clone. Oh, that's a big file. That's a really big file. Wow, was not expecting that. Not file, repository. Okay, so now that we have that, we'll come to the beginning of the line. We'll delete to the end. Whoops. Delete to the end. Wait a minute. Huh, interesting. Looks like my buffer just didn't update. Okay, so we'll say dot dot slash, dot dot slash. Let's see here. We were calling this from Google Cloud Events, right? Whoopsie, Google Cloud Events. Yes, because we're calling it from the root, so it should just be one up. So it'd be Google APIs. So it's actually Google APIs slash Google slash type slash lat long dot proto. And let's try to run that real quick. So cd that slash, let's see if it's in the history, scripts compile. File does not reside within any path specified using proto, path, or I. Oh, okay. So in that case, what we should actually do is cheat a little bit. Just copy this. Come back to Cloud Events and then say and vim temp, yes, include. So then we're going to go to Google. Oh, I gotta make the directory first. Make directory temp include Google type vim temp include Google type lat long dot proto, just so that way I can save myself a little bit of typing. Okay, and then come back to the first one. Back. New word. It would be temp include. Oops. That all square? I think so. Let's try that again. So scripts compile. Cannot make protopath relative. No such file or directory. Temp include Google. What? ls. Did I just make the directory a second ago? Temp include Google. Okay, make directory. Temp include Google type. Okay, let's try this again. We're gonna get it to work this time. nvim temp include Google type lat long dot proto. I could see that I did it above. All right. Oh, you know what? This re-downloads it every single time. And then unzips it. So really I should just be taking this, yank, and calling it from here. Oh, come on. That's not what I wanted to do. Okay. Let's see here. Where is it setting the protocol, the proto-C compiler? That is coming from somewhere in there. Let's see if I can just copy this and then paste. Nope. Copy. All right. Let's see if I can grab proto-C. So that would be /temp bin proto-C. Okay. Slash I temp include slash I third party Google APIs I proto descriptor set out equals temp protos.pb. Then we need dart out equals temp, and then temp include Google type .long.proto. So now it should be in cat dart Google protobuf. Nope. Oh, you know what? I see the issue. This needs a slash on the end. Cat dart Google. Okay. Let's see if we can just figure out how to compile this from here. First install Bazel. I don't want to use Bazel. I want to use my own thing. Okay. This is bad. This is real bad. Okay. So now we say ls cd temp include type proto protos.pb start out temp All right, where's that big old command that I ran? Oh wait, because I had that set to the, okay. I didn't want to do that. I want to set it to the Dart directory for out. Dart. Okay, so cat, yeah, cat, Dart, type. There we go. There we go. Ooh. So I'm going to say copy, copy recursively Dart Google type to, where's the project that we're in, Firestore, link directory lib, Google type. There we go. Okay, copy recursively Dart Google type to my folder, Firestore lib, Google, then type. So now if we come here, let's fix this. Type, move. There we go. Then we can just delete this folder. There we go. Now we're working again. Let's see here. So where were we? We were in this events. Data events, and I think we can say convert to package. I think you're missing something there, bud. It's Google / Great. Organize imports. There we go. There we go. And these are all generated, so we don't really care. We don't actually care about any of these protocol buffers either, so we'll just delete these. If we need them, we can go back and reclaim them and figure out where we got them from. So I'm just going to delete all these and these Firebase ones, because we actually don't need the Firebase protocol buffers, believe it or not. Great. That was easy. Events, okay, yeah. So I think that's all set up. So now if we come back, close this, back to our main file where we handle requests. So we got the headers. Now what we can do is we can say, we don't really care about getting the bytes anymore, but what we want to do is create a document event from the protocol buffer. So the buffer would be value, righto, okay. And we will say document, bar doc event. And then what we could say, clear up our screen a little bit, is doc event dot. Since this is a create event, there will not be a old value. The old value will always be null here. So we would just want to look at the current value dot fields, will tell us the fields, the name, so where this occurred. What I believe what we want to do is we want to find a specific field that got updated. So we'll say test turns the value of the field associated with tag number or the default value if it is not set. What is the default value if it's not set? We probably don't want get field. So if we say value test, no. Value dot, you can get the creation time. Has name, has required fields, is initialize. I've done this before. I believe we want to find the fields, the documents fields. Oh yes, and then we say test to see the test value. So we'll say var test value equals, and we'll say print, then test value. And I think if we do, yeah, that should work. And we actually don't need to return anything. So we can just delete this. And there we go. I think we have just speed run creating a item, creating a function that listens to a Firestore event, such as like on create. And then once it gets that create event, it pushes that to cloud logging, so that way we can see the event. We can update the Firestore document. The challenge with that is that there's no Firebase admin SDK for Dart or for Flutter. I guess it would just be Dart in this case. So hopefully we'll just prove that this works, and then in the next video I'll see if we can make a write request back to Firestore to update the value. So hopefully this all works, and if it does, we'll keep on working with this. So it's building right now. Oh, that's so strange. My laptop opened something on my other screen. Oh, that's cool. It sent me, I guess it knows when my computers are nearby each other. So it sent a little message. Do you want to open this? Oh, that's cool. So we'll just wait for this to build. It's built. Collapse some of these so that way it's a little bit easier to read. So replace service got called. Now it's routing the traffic. Okay. And in it was less than 30 minutes. Okay. Let's create a new document. So we'll start the first one with test. And we'll create another one with the field test, but then we'll give it a different value just to see the value update, right? ASDF. So let's make sure that this works. Let's try and, sometimes I have to refresh after I push a new build. Okay. String value, test, great. I believe, does this return a, oh, it returns a value. So you could say like dot, string value, dot, I believe there's a way to say as string value. There's a way to take that value and unwrap it to like understand what it is. I think it's just dot string value. Pardon, it can't be, because the receiver can be null. So you gotta do like a null check, and then you can unwrap the string value there. So we had the first value, which is test, and then we have the second one, which is ASDF. So we'll scroll down, see that, and that's all there is to it. So hopefully in the next episode, whenever I get to it, we can add in some logic to just uppercase the text as it comes in and write it back to the object, so that way we can see real-time updates as they happen. So thanks for watching. Hopefully this was fun.